is Labor Day here in the States. It's a federal holiday. Technically, everyone's supposed to have the day off. For me, it means most of my clients and students aren't bothering me today. It's more time for me to work on the other projects that's, personal, professional. This is how I'm celebrating my labor. Yeah. Whatever that means to you. Running errands. Target. Might be lucky to have a 3-day weekend, commonly what we think of Labor Day as. Everywhere's still open, right? Which means somebody's working. You gotta think back to like why Labor Day is a thing. It's actually end of 1800s, Industrial Revolution was at its peak, and workers went from, the skilled tradesmen that they were to essentially commodities that ran the factories. And when that happened, they lost the means of production. Because factories were expensive, mines were expensive. It was hard to get a cooperative investment in it. So the wealthy owned them, the banks owned them, and the workers became commoditized. Because back then, we're talking 12-hour days every single day of the week. I mean, even 5-year-olds were putting in these kind of hours. And with that, they just barely eked out a living. Unions came together, decided who was gonna be worth what and what kind of hours they're gonna work. Because here we are over a century later. So Labor Day, yeah, maybe you get Monday off, but really, maybe you should be thinking about how you're helping your fellow worker. What the hell? Yes. More errands. How do you help a fellow worker? Here's a rule of thumb, and it's not an exact science. The more convenient and easy something is for you as a customer, the more difficult it might be for the worker. It doesn't apply everywhere, but again, rule of thumb. Black Lives Matter. We often have to reward ourselves for leaving the house and doing errands by making sure we stop somewhere for beer. Every time. Otherwise, we'd never leave the house. Hill. Ever notice how downtown Asheville is just lousy with bookstores? Here's what $100 gets you in books in Asheville. Used, new. Elizabeth Costello from J.M. Cortez. A $5 copy of Pynchon's Gravity's Rainbow, $5 copy of Tom Hardy. Something called Ecstasy, also $5. This is a book about how to read Albert Camus. Look, a $5 copy of a few James Joyce titles. Used. For the new stuff we have Sully Strong's new memoir, and this will all be over soon. A $5 copy of True Grit. Not farting.
Did you fart?
No.
Oh, I think that was the fridge.
Huh.
It made a long, like the sounds you've been making, but the fridge made it, but it sounded muffled.
I found this very short introduction to creativity. Maybe that'll help. Already thinking ahead. Malaprops does these mystery books. They tell you what it's about. Pulp fiction in a picturesque A fierce portrait of modern times, a humane examination of seemingly shallow, unlikable people pleading for purpose. Independent bookstore. I've never heard of this. Vernon Subutex. I don't know. It's a staff pick and it's bright pink. And so the hardest part about Labor Day is thinking about it from the position of a freelancer in combination with the technological advances that compromise every labor situation. Here we are over 100 years later. What does labor mean to us? As a freelancer, I leverage platforms like Upwork and Fiverr to find leads for new work, in addition to everything else that I do. Platforms essentially, once again, took that labor and commoditized it. No matter of the skill I produce or the ultimate benefit of what I'm making for clients, but how cheap can I get? The skill doesn't matter. It's all about commoditizing my time. Always a race to the bottom. What can you do for your fellow worker? Yeah, we're not people right now. We're all workers. How do you turn back into a person? Do you want to jump on the couch? Want to jump on the couch?